Hi there, and welcome back to the HQ. Today, we are going to be reacting to Ganondorf in Super Smash Bros. The best, worst character. So, fun fact, I love Super Smash Bros. I've played a lot of it. Personally, my mains in Super Smash Bros. Are like, in Smash Ultimate at least, I play a lot of Sonic, I play Cloud, I mix it up with Ryu on occasion. I like to dick around with Hero, and I do like me some Puff. But there's one character I love to play as a joke, as an S-word post that I can't say in the first 60 seconds of the video. That would be Ganondorf. Because he is such a garbage character. I'm talking straight garbaggio. And I know this character intimately well. And I can't wait to see what Mr. McFumbles has to say about my favorite garbaggio character. So join me in experiencing the wonderful disaster that is the one, the only, the Demon King thief himself, Ganondorf in Super Smash Brothers.
Smash is such a fun game, right?
Wrong! Smash is not a fun game! Take it from me, Dr. Fun. I mean Ganondorf, that's my entire personality!
Oh no!
For as long as I can
a
remember,
Ganon
ever since
main?
playing Melee on the GameCube when I still mistook the controller for a teething ring, to the Wii, to the Wii U, all the way up until the Switch where I could fit the whole controller in my mouth.
I can't even
love
imagine
Smash Brothers
maining
for all of them, and I've
Ganondorf.
always mained Ganondorf. Is
Bruh.
this a brutal form of masochism? Potentially, but
it seems
there's
like
something
it.
about
Are you
Ganondorf
good?
that pulls me towards him. It might be his overwhelming power, his sick design, or relatability, as we're both large, lumbering laughingstocks. More so than anything else, Ganondorf
I've
in
been
Smash
there.
Brothers is known
I've
as a
been there.
complete joke of a character.
Oh, most
Far cry
certainly.
from the Demon King of his
The-
own series.
the
Ganondorf
utter
is
joke.
consistently one of, if not the worst character in the game, with certain iterations in the running for the worst Smash character overall.
The DORIYAH
Regardless of being
time.
terrible, he still has one of the largest cult
Yes,
followings
exactly,
of any character
Roxas.
for that reason. He's garbage. He stinks. He couldn't take a stock off against an unplugged controller. But that just means when he does score a win, it's all the more fun.
Oh yeah,
As I've
Ganon.
matured and
People
gotten
who
sick of
know
losing,
how to play
I've branched out to
Ganondorf
other
are
characters
hilarious.
Like the equally underwhelming Ridley and K. Rool, the so-so Mewtwo, and the God Emperor Pac-Man. But no matter what, I always keep Ganondorf on the docket because he's the best. Am I gonna win?
No,
Am I gonna
you're
piss
not.
Somebody off in the process of trying?
Oh,
So
yeah.
Today I wanted to go
Oh
through
yeah. There is nothing that brings out the salt more than playing someone who takes the game super seriously and picking up a joke character like Ganondorf. Nothing will piss a player off more.
all the way from the character's inception in Melee to his final update in Ultimate to go over what exactly makes Ganondorf so bad, and why that makes him the best character in the game.
Exactly.
Starting with the first game he appeared in, Melee, Ganondorf's road into Smash was an extremely strange one. As you most likely know, Melee was held together by a thin layer of saliva that director Masahiro Sakurai applied at the last possible second to keep the game from leaking out of TVs.
Oh yeah, like if you know the development story of Super Smash Bros. Melee, it is crazy how this game even holds itself together. There's a reason why the game is so buggy, why characters like Ice Climbers are so broken, why you have an entire character like whose most broken tech was named after because if you don't know, Ice Climbers in Melee have a technique called wobbling, which I don't know if it was a chicken or the egg type situation, but there was a pro Smash Melee player named Wobbles who used the wobbling technique to great efficiency, where basically you just stagger your grabs between the two Ice Climbers, so you get them in an infinite grab and just keep beating on them infinitely until they're high enough to take a stock off them with a good smash attack. Like, It is one of the most, like, Ice Climbers is one of the most busted characters in the whole damn game. Don't even get me started on, I'm pretty sure it's Ice Climbers that also has the ability to just freeze stun lock you and make it like, it's like a grab glitch or something. Yeah, it is. Melee is so broken and I love it so much. Also, hi, the Mischief Sheep. Welcome to the chat.
Melee's development was insanely rushed, and so much was left on the cutting room floor. In order to give the roster a bit more of a boost because it was honestly looking a bit paltry, characters were copied, altered slightly, and given a whole new coat of paint.
Yep,
These
clones.
were the clone characters, or at least they were, up until the successful gaslighting campaign got us calling them Echo Fighters. See, these are Echo Fighters because everybody hates them. These aren't Echo Fighters because I said so.
Yeah, why isn't Dr. Mario considered an Echo Fighter? Is it because his stats are slightly more changed? Like he should be considered an Echo. Speaking of, let me know in the comments who you think. If they did a big DLC pack for a Switch 2 version of Smash and just made a bunch of cool Echo Fighters of different fighters, who would you want to be as an Echo Fighter? And why? Personally, I would want Metal Sonic as an Echo Fighter of Sonic. I think it would work. You can mix him up, give him some special moves, like replace like his spin dash with Black Shield or something, like maybe like a counter or something. But I think it would work well as an Echo. You know, better than making Shadow an Echo Fighter. That'd be lame. But Metal Sonic works because, you know, he's literally just supposed to be the higher end Sonic. So I think it would work.
Marth switched teams to become Roy, they dragged out Pikachu's baby photos for Pichu, Mario took a 3-week online course to become Dr. Mario, it all makes sense. Then came the manner of Ganondorf. He wasn't a character planned to be in the game originally, but was added near the 11th hour since he was pretty popular and because of his resemblance to another character in the game. Oh, so probably like a Bowser or someone, where you can just slap Beast Cannon over him, right? And then the Vroom Vroom Man showed up. Yeah, because Ganondorf and Captain Falcon of all people had similar builds, the decision was made to slap him in his roster fluff as a Captain Falcon clone.
Yeah, like, why they would make Ganondorf a Captain Falcon clone, of all things. Like, I don't know why they would even consider doing that. I mean, I get it why. I mean, they needed to pad the roster out like crazy. But Jesus, dog. Just, like, making him just, like, a out-and-out brawler when you could have had his sword, his magic, all of that stuff. It is hilariously questionable.
This would have long-lasting effects on Ganondorf as a character, but as he was now, it was less a detriment and more really weird.
Oh,
Instead
most
of
certainly.
Doing anything reminiscent of Ganondorf's main appearance in Ocarina of Time, or even pulling on Beast Ganon for inspiration, Ganondorf instead has the same moveset as a part-time bounty hunter, part-time race car driver, full-time dead meme. In a series as dedicated as Smash Bros. Is to presenting its characters as faithfully as possible to their source game, this incarnation of Ganondorf is a big sore thumb in how essentially it's a different guy. It isn't a massive deal when it comes to playability, but
definitely
something about having Ganondorf like this makes him feel so soulless. That soullessness carries over to the announcer.
Mario! Young Link! Ice Climbers! Ganondorf.
He clearly hates this guy.
It is so funny to me how unenthused the announcer is at announcing Ganondorf. Like, everybody else he is super psyched about. But then he just gets to Ganondorf, and it sounds like he just had to take like one last take he forgot to do. So he just whips out his cell phone in like a bathroom stall and quickly records it and emails it to his director or something, to his voice director, and it's like, there, done. Oh my god. Just absolutely unenthused.
So what about his moveset in this game? Were you not listening? I just told you, Captain Falcon. Almost every single one of Ganondorf's moves is a flat copy and paste of Falcon's. Sure, stuff like his jab, forward tilt, and forward air were modified, and if you're gonna drop any part of Falcon's moveset, the knee would not be high on my list, but Other
Yeah,
than that,
why would you
everything else
drop?
was the same.
Why would you
Even his
drop
specials where you
the
could afford to
Falcon
get more
knee?
creative were carbon copies. The Falcon Punch became the Warlock Punch. Falcon Kick was now Wizard's Foot. Raptor Boost was now Gerudo Dragon. So what fundamental differences were there between Ganondorf and Captain Falcon that you weren't just selecting the same character from a different slot?
He was
that
just
comes
a
down
little,
to the
you
two
know,
things that
just
defined
very
Ganondorf's
mild
entire
tweaking.
playstyle for the rest of Smash's lifespan. He's super strong and super slow. Ganondorf's movement speed compared to Falcon is absolutely gutted, in some cases decreasing by nearly half of Falcon's speed. Now, comparing most characters to Falcon in terms of speed is pretty unfair, but when that speed
most
puts him
certainly.
as the fourth
He is,
slowest
like-
in terms of walking speed, sixth
If I recall, Falcon is like one of the fastest characters in like in Smash Melee. I'm pretty sure. Like, I know, like, these days, like, the fastest character in Smash, period, is Sonic. But it is funny, like, thinking just how it's basically just a slow Falcon, but with boosted power.
Slowest in terms of dash speed, and third slowest in terms of air speed, it's a massive hit. Compared to Falcon, he has the fourth highest jump speed in the game and fastest dash period. However, for as slow as he moves, he hits just as hard. His strength is incredible.
Oh yeah, he hits
Almost
like
every move he has
hits like a
access to
truck.
is just a stronger version of what Falcon can do. This makes up for Ganondorf's slow movement speed and how he may not land as many hits, but the ones he does hurt like hell.
Oh,
And
most
while
certainly.
his attack speed on the ground may be, his attack speed in the air is outrageous.
Oh.
Ganondorf's aerial game is deceptively good, with his attacks coming out way faster than they do on the ground, and having a crazy high attack power for aerials. It's in the air that we get to see without a
Ganondorf,
doubt,
like,
Ganondorf's
when he
best and
hits,
most
he
defining
hits.
move, the stomp. Ganondorf's down air
Oh,
is not
the
just
baby,
the
the
strongest
stomp.
aerial in the game, but it's the one with the ability to meteor smash somebody to the top of the stage, changing the opponent from a deadly warrior into a buckyball in no time flat. It's while in the air that we also get to talk about the more competitive side of Melee. L canceling is a technique where by pressing L within 7 frames of landing, you get to cancel out the animation and be ready to follow up. This is good for most characters in the game, but for Ganondorf, it is absolutely required. Ganondorf has so much ending lag on almost all of his moves that even though they're really strong, they leave him as a sitting
my
duck.
god,
The
all of
minute
that
amount of time gained by
lag.
canceling may be small, but to a Sheik player, that's enough time to do full combo.
Yeah, if you're playing a very slow character like Ganondorf, L canceling is absolutely crucial.
Whatever Ganondorf can get, he'll take, and as such, he's the character that benefits the most from L-canceling. So, with all that said, how does Ganondorf fare in the unforgiving world of competitive Melee? Honestly, better than you'd think. Roller coaster emergency brakes don't deliver the sort of whiplash that's seen Ganondorf as the 8th best character in the game gives.
Yeah. Don't get used to seeing him up in that high tier. Don't get used to seeing Ganondorf in B tier. He's not going to be sticking around long. He's going to be getting evicted from that tier very, very quickly.
And before you say it's because he stole Falcon's skeleton and was using that to scum wins, there were a substantial amount of tier lists
honestly,
where Ganondorf
valid.
was ranked above Falcon. Why is that? Nobody knew what he was doing. See, this is the benefit of being cursed with the clone character tag. You're similar to your base character, but how similar? Roy is not a note-for-note copy of Marth, Pichu is not a note-for-note copy of Pikachu, and Ganondorf isn't a note-for-note copy of Captain Falcon.
Yeah,
they're different in
very
just
subtle
the right way
differences.
that people can't exactly rely on previous matchup information to take a win. People going in expecting to fight a slower Captain Falcon were rocked when they figured out that he hit substantially harder and wasn't nearly as slow as people thought when it came to those impressive aerial attacks. Melee Ganondorf is a far cry from the no-hoper we all know and love from Brawl Forward. He had legitimately good combos, good moves, hitboxes, throws. Sure, his recovery might as well have sent him downward for how helpful it was, but imagine having flaws where your character doesn't do everything perfectly.
No. Oh, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on Mr. Triple S himself, fucking Meta Knight. Don't even get me started, dog. Brawl Meta Knight is the worst. Like, the fact that for the entire lifetime of competitive Brawl, for, all of, 6 months that it happened before everybody decided to switch back to Melee, Meta Knight was banned in most, most tournaments. It is so nutty. Like, I've never played professionally Smash. I do love the professional Smash scene. I love like the story of the competitive Smash scene and the saga of the five gods of Melee. It is phenomenal story. It's it's a shame that it got rocked. It got rocked and ravaged by the Me Too movement because, like, not a shame for the players, a shame for all the victims, of course, but like how gutted the scene got because of just how many like bad people were in it. Oh my god. Yeah, absolutely awful. But yeah, Smash, competitive Smash is just a phenomenal scene to follow. Mm.
Ganondorf excelled in the early days of Melee, as his success was entirely related to the time of his release. See, the world sucked in 2002. You couldn't figure out which celebrity pissed themselves most recently at a moment's notice, and matchup data was hard to come by.
Yeah, there was no Twitter in 2002.
Just to look up if Ganondorf was even in the game. Everyone had an inkling that characters like Fox, Sheik, Marth, and Captain Falcon were the top dogs, and as such, people would get tons of experience in how to fight them.
God.
Conversely, the fact
Thinking back to the old days pre-internet when you didn't know how to unlock new characters. So like that challenger approaching screen when you were just messing around in Smash with your buddies, that got you on edge. Oh god, I remember playing at my buddy's house, like going over to my friend's apartment when I was a kid. We would sit back, play Smash together, and then on occasion that new challenger approaching screen would come. And we got hyped. There is nothing quite like a challenger approaching screen after a good Smash game.
That not as many people played Ganondorf meant that when he did show up, you basically had to learn on the fly what to do against him. Sure, you could translate some Falcon knowledge into the matchup, but what if you were planning for something that was slightly altered in Ganondorf? What if he hit harder? What if his moves had more ending lag? Spoiler, these were both always true, and those differences opened up windows for Ganondorf to get to work. So then why did Ganondorf dip down in the rankings as more lists were released? It's not like we were in any danger of getting a patch. Well, time was moving forward as it does every now and again, and the stories of Ganondorf stealing games he absolutely shouldn't have became more and more well known. Footage of high-level Ganondorf play became more available to more people, and counterplay was developed. Sure, I've been trying to downplay it as much as possible, but Ganondorf's speed issues weren't suddenly non-existent.
Yeah, in a game as fast as Brawl, you being slow is one of the biggest crutches you could get, especially when your main, when the top characters in the whole game are characters like Fox, Falco, Sheik, and Marth, who are like some of the faster characters. Like, you go up against a matchup against somebody who can hit you fast, hard, and avoid what you have, then you're just kind of cooked, bro.
Pairing his movement to someone like Fox reveals he's woefully outclassed, and in a game like Smash where you constantly need to be on the move to account for your opponent, Ganondorf's speed kneecaps him hard. Even with wave dashing, Ganondorf struggles to make up ground, especially against the entire rest of the roster. In a similar vein, there's just more Ganondorf to hit. He's a fair bit bigger than most of the rest of the cast, and as a result means that it's just easier to land hits on him.
That hitbox is definitely bigger.
Compare Pikachu to Ganondorf and realize that the world is not made for tall people. However, it's not the quality of the character, it's the pilot, and Ganondorf mains are built different, as in they have the blueprints upside down.
The two most famous
Kage
is built different.
Were two sides of the same coin, Kage and Bizarro Flame. Kage represented the technical side of Ganondorf. He understood exactly how to wring the most value out of what Ganondorf brought to the table. He was at one time the 34th best player in the world.
Wow.
Only Ganondorf, and took down who at the time was considered the best player in the world, Mango. The celebration is exactly what you would expect.
My man beat one of the five gods.
Losing to a broken down Pinto. Let's put it like this.
He beat one of the five gods with DORF.
That convinced people that he had a winning matchup against Falco. This is a report from friggin' Loodyland. This is Minecraft Steve having a losing matchup against the Sandbag. Bizarro Flame was the dickhead side of Ganondorf. He played in a time where Ganondorf's weaknesses were all well known. He's a slow piece of crap that hits like a boat crash. Smash. Despite that, he would consistently
So
rank
he's
super
just-
high for playing
so
a
he's
mid-tier
just
character like
trolling
Ganondorf,
as
often ranking
Ganondorf.
in the top 100 players in the world. His skill was one thing, but his playstyle and theatrics were what pushed him over the top to become so successful.
God.
He would win with
Like, God, can you imagine that, Roxas? Being a DORF player who beat in their prime, Mango in like a tourney final. Like, that sounds like an out-of-season April Fool's joke to me. Like, beating one of the 5 gods in their prime with DORF. Like, one of the strongest, like, was this back when Mango was maining Fox, or was this back when he was running Puff? Because I know for a while Mango was a Puff main like HBox, but then he switched over to just like running Fox. Because he acquiesced to people who thought that was boring to watch Puff, when it's not. Being a Puff, you got balls if you run a Puff main. That's why I love HBox. Our unproblematic king.
Warlock punches, create videos of Ganondorf ice skating to show off his movement options, and even brought the game of disrespecting your opponent to a whole new level.
And when you heard that Eichelman would be taking his spot, what then did you think?
Easy money!
He is trolling.
And frustratingly was good enough to get away with it. Bizarro may have had one of the greatest minds for the metagame of Smash, where even if he wasn't as good or played with somebody who knew all of Ganondorf's counters, are they really going to be able to focus with the entire crowd on his side?
Oh, absolutely not. Also, God, I gotta get around to watching that Implement documentary on HBox, the There Will Never Ever Be Another Super Smash Bros. Player like Hungrybox, because I love the story of the 5 gods, and I haven't, like, God, I've, like, I can't remember a whole lot of it, because I watched a lot of Smash growing up as a kid, because I love to play Smash Bros, and I love to watch Smash on YouTube whenever YouTube became a thing. And I remember watching some online and just fell in love with the competitive scene. I've never got into it myself because I was never really good enough to play Smash Bros on that level, because my hand-eye coordination wasn't always that great. But yeah, I do love it. Oh yeah, funny fact about that, Roxas. I did react to a video by Many Kudos, specifically about Leffen versus Chillin' Dude. It's over on the channel. In fact, I'm probably going to link it at the end of this video, too, for anybody who watches till the end and sees my outros and my suggested videos. They're always videos related to the subject that I am currently reacting to. So at the end of this one, you will probably see my video, my reaction video to the video covering the Leffen versus Chillin' Dude match, Fox versus Fox. Whoever loses can't play default colors. But yeah, it is a very spicy matchup if you know who Leffen and Chillin' Dude are. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was Chillin's biggest mistake to try to go after Leffen, because as much of a dickhead as Leffen was at the time, and as cocksure Chillin was, as one of the pioneers of Foxes, like, Leffen's a douche, but he was a douche who knows how to play Melee, and that can't be that can't be denied.
He took tactics from pro wrestling and applied it to Smash Bros. Was he a better Ganon main than Kage? Well, he would have been if he didn't lose to Kage 5 games in a row, but he solidified Ganondorf's reputation.
So he was the second best. He was the second best. Second best Ganon.
He was above a Bowser or a Kirby because there was a real chance he could actually win, while still wearing his low-tier status like a medal. All you need to do is hear a crowd chanting Ganondorf's name to get the vibe the character puts out.
Dorf. Spawn and sit inside each and every one of us.
The warrior.
Oh, they are cheering.
Overall, Overall, Ganondorf was an
Chanting
extremely
for the
viable
DORF.
character early on into Melee's lifespan, having tons of neat tricks and legitimate bombs that could not only steal wins, but convincingly take entire games. As time rolled on, people learned what Ganondorf mains were up to and started to learn how to counter, with the main strategy being, don't be hit by him, something that the faster characters excelled at.
Oh yeah,
Even
just
with
don't
this
be
dip
hit by
the latter
DORF
half of
and you'll be
Melee's
fine.
lifespan, Ganondorf is easily at his best in Melee, pretty much at the middle of the pack as Melee's 14th best character. We would never see these lofty heights again.
The heights. Oh no, here we go. Brawldorf, here we go. Oh, what? How? Look at how they slaughtered my boy.
Quiero sentir tus labios besándome otra vez. Suave.
Oh God! Oh no! It's a disaster!
Oh God!
Save for Jigglypuff, which is a whole different can of worms. There have been very few characters to ever take a hit like Ganondorf did in the transition from Melee to Brawl. Most often, characters who
don't even
are
get me
bad
started.
Stay bad for the rest of their lives. Little Mac is never going to be top tier, and that's fine. But to drop from a middle tier character to
God, a friend of mine. God, there's an old friend of mine who played Smash professionally. I don't know if he still plays Smash professionally, but he was a Mac main, and I don't know if he still mains Mac. Like I have to check in with him at some point, see if he still plays, and still if he see if he still mains Mac. I gotta see that.
undisputed worst in the game is next level embarrassing. So with Brawl having the exact opposite problem from Melee, that being too much development time,
God,
you think that they would take Ganon,
slower in
a
Melee
included at the
and
last minute as
tripping,
fluff, and rework him, retool him, and refine him into something that represented the character.
Nope.
How about you're lucky he got in at all? While not a late-stage inclusion like before, Ganondorf was still on shaky ground, as his fellow clone classmates like Dr. Mario and Pichu were all culled this time around, a lot of them not coming back until Smash 4 and Ultimate. Ganondorf could stay, sure, but not as the Ganondorf we were hoping for. Instead of changing him up to be more of his own man, Ganondorf stayed the same as he was in Melee for the most part.
Yeah, like, why couldn't they give Dorf, like, a serious upgrade? And, like, at least in, like, Smash 4, the way they did Bowser by giving Bowser the posture check. Why couldn't they upgrade Dorf? Like, I know he had some stuff with the custom moveset, but they could have seriously just changed his whole fucking flow, dog.
Heavier, stronger Falcon. But seeing as Falcon himself plummeted all the way to the depths of unplayability in Brawl, his carbon copy wasn't much better off. No bones about it, Ganondorf is the worst character in the game by a comfortable margin. There's a great argument to be made that Brawl Ganondorf is the worst Smash character ever made. First
certainly.
off is the model
he
swap.
had a
The
hell of a
shift
glow
from
up.
Ocarina of Time Ganondorf to Twilight Princess Ganondorf seems innocuous, but you have to take into account that this Ganondorf is a brick house. He's big
most
and
certainly.
He's
He's a big old boy.
So the problems that Ganondorf had with absorbing damage due to his size was made even worse. Another fundamental change between Melee and Brawl was the removal of L canceling. Along with wave dashing, these features were intentionally left out of the game to
getting rid of one of the most crucial pieces of kit, like pieces of tech for Dorf, getting rid of L canceling and wave dashing, two very crucial pieces of tech for Dorf's kit to make him any viable. Yeah, that killed Dorf right away.
close the super wide gap between competitive and casual Smash. While to the average character this stung but was ultimately fine, this took away Ganondorf's one good option. Without L canceling, Ganondorf's air game, the main reason to play the character, was gone, and in its place, he's just so slow.
Yeah,
Ganondorf
he's so bad.
Is the slowest character in the game overall,
He is so
right next
bad.
to Jigglypuff. He can't get anywhere with any amount of quickness, and in the time it takes him to get from one side of the stage to the other, you could finish a full set. In a game where the top tiers are the hoo-ha, the ass boy, and the speed is vitally important.
The demon.
Ganondorf might as well have been playing with
Oh
lead weights in
no,
his
the
pants.
demon.
He can't jump high, meaning his bad recovery was even worse, and his combo game suffered. His range was crippled, meaning that he had to work even harder to get in despite not having the speed to accomplish that. But this all had to
God,
be
it's
leading up to
so
something, right?
painful
Like,
watching
all this talk
Brawl
about what Ganondorf
Dorf.
lost has to be in the service of his
God.
damage output, right? We
Nope.
all know that Ganondorf hits hard, so all these debuffs must be to make up for how hard he's gonna hit, right? They nerfed his damage. Overall,
They
Ganondorf's
nerfed
main
his
moves do significantly
damage.
less damage to
Oh,
the point
God.
that his power, the reason you'd want to play him now that the aerials were out of the question, is only a little more impressive than
Yeah,
average.
it is
Look at how they massacred his aerial
painful.
attacks.
Oh my God. His forward aerial has much more landing lag. His forward, what they gave him so much landing lag. God. Yeah. I can't help but like visibly cringe when I watch Brawl gameplay. It is.
His forward air doesn't even do anything
I love
anymore.
Brawl because it
Where
gave
all
us
that power
Sonic
went
and
was into
Smash,
some
but
of his
holy
worst
shit.
moves. His up
Holy
tilt got
shit, dog.
significantly buffed. Oh yeah, that move I started charging a week ago. Let's see how it's going. Yep, still charging. He has the
Still
strongest
going.
forward throw in the game, but his grab is the worst in the game, so he can't ever use it. His horizontal airspeed has been increased, so now he's only the 8th slowest in that regard. I'm getting that
great.
for my birthday cake. You're probably asking, is there any out-and-out positive to Ganondorf's new moveset?
The choke
There's
slam.
one. Down air's the best in the game,
Oh,
baby.
yeah,
It's
stomping,
Ganondorf's
baby.
only good
The
move.
stomping.
It does good damage. It's possible to hit somebody with it, and can
Stomp
lead to a
time,
caveman's
baby.
version of a combo. Along with that, the Gerudo Dragon was swapped out for one of Ganondorf's only unique moves, the Flame Choke. Along
Oh,
with the
yeah,
unanimous
the
agreement that he
choking.
was the worst character
The
in
choke.
the game, Flame
Oh,
Choke
Ganon
solidified
choke. I love
Ganondorf's
it.
meme status in the Smash community. Instead of knocking the opponent up like the dragon did, Flame Choke grabs the opponent and sends them directly down. Whether there's a stage there to stop them is all up to Ganondorf. This move, in a breaking of traditions for Ganondorf, has positives and negatives. It's consistent, meaning you can hit it over and over again in sequence and call it a combo to piss off anybody hit by it. It travels a good distance, does solid damage, sets up other moves like the stomps, but for negatives, it's stupid easy to read. Oh, the giant green man is rocketing while moving towards me with a flaming death hand. Should I A,
moving
stand
towards me.
motionless and let him hit me? B, jump off the stage in recognition of his overwhelming power? Or C, move? Who would've thought?
Yeah, I'm gonna take
Just throwing
C.
the move out more often than not will lead to you getting killed. But what if the move more often than not led to you getting killed when you meant it?
Yeah.
Ganonside is the great
Oh,
addition to Ganondorf's
Ganonside,
toolkit
it's
from
so
Brawl.
peak.
And not in terms of competitive viability, usually dying
yeah, Ganonside is
but for the
peak
idea
tech.
as Ganondorf as the king of garbage. His moves are bad. He's as slow as molasses. He can't hit you, and he absorbs damage like a sponge. So imagine how bad it makes you look to be the guy who lost to him.
Yeah.
Ganondorf may be bad, the worst character.
How bad do you have to be to play the triple S banned tier Meta Knight and losing to a Dorf?
During the
In
game.
Brawl,
But the
of
buttons
all
on your opponent's
things.
controllers still work, and they do things. So if you treat Ganondorf like a layup, it's entirely likely that you just get destroyed without ever realizing what happened. It only takes a few sloppy moves or missed attacks for Ganondorf to close gaps with frightening speed.
My man lost to a Dorf!
Ganondorf is like fighting a dream. Nothing about it is going to feel like it actually happened, whether that be how easy the fight was, how one-sided your sustained and brutal beating was, or the part where he starts flying. Ganondorf actually benefited from the glitches in Brawl and how his hitboxes made a negative sense.
Flying
Getting hit
Dwarf.
with the waft of the wizard kick was as deadly as the kick itself. His up smash seemingly booted your aura in the jaw, or when you perform a hyper-specific input that sends Ganondorf rocketing into the sky to kill you. Make no mistake, none of this was enough to save him in the eyes of players.
God.
Ganondorf's major competitive successes in Brawl
I love how
practically
buggy
don't exist
Smash
thanks to
is.
the fact that the metagame was faster than light, with Satan himself sitting on top of the throne. Verminubis was the only noteworthy Ganondorf player from the time, and even then, it wasn't any major success. I mean, he beat the world's best Snake player with him, but unlike last time, it wasn't enough to trick people into thinking he was a competitively viable character. Ganondorf as a low tier in Brawl is the worst
I could
place
see.
he's ever been, because unlike previous Smash games where low tiers were goofy idiots who didn't function, like Game & Watch having a shield that doesn't protect him.
Yeah, I want to know how the hell that made it through QA. I want to know how the hell that made it through QA. Like, the fact that Game & Watch has a shield that doesn't even cover his entire body. How did that get past QA?
Brawl's low tiers aren't funny bad, they're sad bad. Characters like Zelda feeling like every move was designed by a different person, with way too many finishers but no setup, or Jigglypuff being a shell of herself. Ganondorf's wacky and near useless
Zelda is
moveset
awful,
was
just out and out
different
awful.
Found an audience that appreciated him for what he was, a bottom-of-the-barrel game scummer. Ganondorf was weirdly both
utter
unpredictable and
joke
painfully
fodder
easy to read,
character.
underestimated and way overhyped. he is everything, and at the same time, he's nothing.
Yeah, nothing and everything all at once.
The competitively viable character died in Brawl. What was born was the legend of Ganondorf, low-tier king. The leap from Melee to Brawl was a leap between a smooth summer drive and a 20-car pileup. The leap from Brawl to Smash 4 was a leap from a 20-car pileup to a 20-car pileup, but everybody gets a cool hat. Ganondorf himself
I like a
didn't
cool
change
hat.
majorly from Brawl to 4, but he did manage to avoid being the worst character in the game this time around.
Very
That's
true.
largely down to the game itself changing to suit Ganondorf. Don't
Yeah.
let anybody tell you that that lie wasn't a stone cold fact. Thanks to the fundamental changes in how combos work in Smash 4, Ganondorf had more combo capabilities. He had better defensive
it's like
options thanks to
he
revisions
was
in how shields and shield
marginally
stun work,
better.
And best of all, the
Marginally.
rage mechanic meant that his power went through the roof. See, in Smash 4, everybody is Lucario. A perfect roster.
Oh my god. Like, the addition of the rage mechanic was it definitely gave a buff to some of these characters who were a lot tankier and who could take damage and were slow but could really dish it out. It really helped them out. Like, the fact that everybody just had the aura boost mode from Lucario and Brawl, yeah, it definitely helped out Dorf in 4.
The longer they stayed in the fight with high damage, the stronger and harder they hit. Now take into account how Ganondorf spends the whole game being beaten up, and you can see how this benefits his already stupidly high stopping power. This ended up being the perfect storm for Ganondorf, as he managed to carve out a niche. It wasn't a good or viable one, but it was a
not
niche.
at all.
When you combine his improved combos, higher damage output, and Ganon-side tactics from the Brawl days, and then couple that with the fact that competitive Smash went to a 2-stock meta, which nobody liked, Ganondorf now had a plan.
Yeah, 2-stock meta. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I really don't like it.
Throw as many bombs as possible in the early game to score a quick KO, and then kill both yourself and your opponent. Ganondorf's ability to score an early KO at low percentages meant that he was good at applying pressure and changing the game of Smash from a back and forth to a speed run trying to kill Ganondorf before he killed you.
Oh,
Ganondorf
yeah.
excelled at preying on your weaknesses and slip-ups. You thought you were hot stuff? Better prove it, because the second Ganondorf catches a mistake, he can turn everything around.
Yeah,
Again,
don't
this
be caught
strategy
lacking
stinks
by
and
a
was better
Dorf.
done by characters like Kirby, DDD, or Bowser if F tier doesn't sound fun to you.
Oh yeah,
See,
also
at a
big
basic
pog
level,
for
I
Bayo.
don't think that Ganondorf's
I love me
playstyle
some Bayo.
exactly works in a game like Smash. Have you
You know, I don't quite love Bayo in Smash, of course, because, you know, they did not balance that character pretty well for Smash 4, and then they kind of gimped her in Ultimate. But, you know, I love Bayo in other ways. I'm just saying, Bayonetta Mama, if you want a seat to sit on, my face is sitting right here.
Fights are fine, but when Smash is a platform fighter, and you have a character who can't platform, you have to rely a lot more on that fighter side, and Ganondorf also doesn't impress there. It's the same reason Little Mac has always been low tier. If you look at Smash top tiers from across the games, Pikachu, Fox, Meta Knight, Bayonetta, they all have amazing mobility and the chance to pick when they battle. If it's a good situation for them, they're on you like a cheap suit. If they don't like it, they can keep their distance and choose to fight only when they have the advantage.
Yeah, very true.
Snake. If he has the advantage, he can just come in with strong dash attacks, smashes, and aerials.
Oh god,
If he doesn't
I
like
forgot.
The situation, he can just stay back and
I forgot that Brawl Snake played like a fucking ice skater. Oh god, I forgot about that. This like sliding all around, just slip and sliding as Brawl Snake is.
peppers explosives to force the opponent into a situation he's favored in. Ganondorf, meanwhile, is forced to close the gap because just sitting there leaves him vulnerable to projectiles, which he has no counter for. And when he's as bad at closing said gap as he is, it's impossible to not feel like he's playing a different game. Ganondorf's main gap-closing options are the Flame Choke and Wizard's Foot, but those both leave him helpless due to their high ending lag, and in that time the opponent's either going to reposition or more likely punish your approach. In concept, Ganondorf
it is super
has a good
easy to
idea
get
for a
punished.
playstyle. Control the center of the stage and push the opponent out until they're out of options. That's good and reflective of what Ganondorf should play like.
Also based for using the Grandpa Dorf skin. I do love me some Grandpa Dorf. This Dorf with the gray hair. Oh, we just call him Grandpa. Call him Grandpa Dorf.
Bully. But if Ganondorf controls just this part of the stage, guess how much that leaves for the opponent? Yeah, that's right, it's all of it.
Yeah.
And if Ganondorf tries to tread there,
the whole
suddenly
shebang.
the bully is the one being knocked around. Not to mention that at any time, the other player can just mug Ganondorf and leave him helpless. He
True,
needs to
very,
be able
very
to close
true.
the gap and hit his opponent, but in the state he's in, he can't. All that power without the ability to get in makes it worthless.
Ooh.
Hello and welcome to the Goo Goo Corner, where we talk about things that aren't hyper serious and not silly competitive Smash. You'll notice I've left blocks in front of you with letters on them to entertain yourselves. But notice I have arranged them in a way where you cannot spell the word sex. We're gonna be talking about Ganondorf's custom moves, which feel like a million years ago, but were really cool, and I'm sad.
Oh, custom moves. Oh, God.
The Warlock's Blade and Thrust, with a faster windup and shield-breaking sweet spot for the blade, and better vertical range for the thrust.
I love how for the gay baby mode with the custom moves, we're using exclusively 3DS footage and not Wii U footage.
Of the three, Blade is the best one because it has the ability to have Ganondorf deal damage without being up the enemy's nose. Also,
the Blade is
in one
yeah,
hit.
the Blade is
Flame
pretty
Choke can
peak.
become the Flame Wave or Flame Chain, with the wave launching the opponent upwards at the cost of having more starting and ending lag, as well as being weaker overall. The Chain, however, never grabs and instead dashes through the opponent, which makes for a move great at applying pressure to a shielding opponent. Something that Ganondorf has historically struggled with.
Yeah,
this may make
that
it
is
the best of the three, but since it can't grab, you can't get inside with it, so it sucks.
Yeah,
His
that's
Dark
an
Dive is
immediate,
replaced with the Dark Fists
immediate bad
and
problem.
Vault. Dark Fists replaces the grab with 2 upward punches, which leads to fantastic damage while still recovering better than the Dark Dive.
Oh.
Dark Vault stinks. And finally, the Wizard's Foot becomes the Wizard's Assault and Drop Kick. Assault is the fastest and pierces through enemies, allowing for mix-ups, but has a very obvious startup and tons of ending lag. Meanwhile, the Drop Kick should just be what Ganondorf's regular down B is. It gives him a great tool for closing the gap and approaching the enemy while still dealing good damage, and even helps with recoveries off stage. The fact it wasn't made the default is proof that nobody remembered custom moves existed after the first time you used them.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, custom moves only existed because they needed a way to showcase Palutena. Like, that's the only reason they existed. Also, hi, Stella. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, custom moves only existed because they needed a way to show off everything Palutena can do. Literally, that's the only reason they existed, is for Palutena, and then just got distributed to everybody else.
And don't think I didn't notice you tried to use the Z block in place of an S. Yeah, you spelled the Zex. Good job. And finally, our last stop is in Smash
Off the
Ultimate.
Ultimate, baby.
Is up to most of
He got
usual
his
tricks,
glow
but
up.
Importantly, there are some big differences. For starter, they replaced his Twilight Princess design with the old Ocarina design. Oh, so Ike gets Twink Ike and Big Boy Ike, but we only get one Ganondorf? Well, how about we take a little something from you, Ike, huh? Ganondorf has received...
Yeah, it's like, we got both Twink and Twunk Ike. Why didn't we get both, like, why didn't we get Ocarina and Twilight Dwarf? Want to explain that one to me, Sakurai? Why does Ike get 2 forms?
The first piece of a moveset that actually resembles Ganondorf in several of the Smash attacks now involving his massive sword from Ocarina of Time.
Also, yes,
As I said,
thank
a lot of these
God
are
he has
filled in
his
from Ike,
sword.
but it's not hard to argue that Ganondorf does him better.
DORIYAH!
Yeah,
baby.
Any of his custom moves with him from 4, and in their place instead we got a Ganondorf that looked more like Melee than ever before. His aerials were much faster and were able to be spammed a lot more easily. This gave Ganondorf combos for the first time in about a decade and a half.
Yeah, oh God, I love Dorf getting the love.
This is a blessing to Ganondorf. It isn't
he
much
needed
more
that
than
sword.
Smashes, but the range feels like it stretches on forever, and the large sweeping motions meant that he could cover so much more ground and keep his positioning. However, the same old problems rear their ugly head as Ganondorf is still too slow to make the best of these
he's still a slug.
Means not as much in Ultimate as it does in the rest of the games because the cast is a lot more balanced than it used to be, but still,
most
he's
certainly.
not at the top end. Not at the bottom though. Thanks, little Mac. Look at it like this.
Poor
In Smash,
Mac,
you're
oh
either
no.
winning or you're losing. There is no middle ground. Good characters have plans both if they're the one applying pressure or having pressure applied to them. Ganondorf characters are great if you're beating the opponent senseless, but less good when you're on the receiving end.
Oh,
He
most
can
certainly.
push advantage when he's in control, but he just doesn't have a way to take it back.
Oh,
If you're being
yeah,
rolled
don't
by
even get me started on that,
Ganondorf, there's
Roxas.
no
Oh my
stopping
goodness.
him. If Ganondorf
Oh.
is being rolled, there's no stopping it. That's reflected in Ganondorf's offstage
Yeah,
game.
Dorf is
If he's
all or
offstage
nothing.
Because he wants to be, it's to deliver a massive stomp or similar spike to take someone out way sooner than they should have been taken out. If he's off stage because he's forced to be, he's already dead because there's nothing in him to get back on the stage.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
kind of built into the character of Ganondorf from his very
Oh,
own
yeah,
intro.
Dorf is
He's meant to be
all or
winning at all
nothing.
times, to the point that he doesn't have any tools to help him get there. It's like he's just supposed to start in this state of immediate dominance that he just can't reach. Now, all this can sound like
Yeah,
it's
like-
too focused on Ganondorf as a competitive character.
Yeah, if Dorf had some more options to go on the offensive instead of being a character built like an offensive character but plays like a defensive one, like it would be so much better for Dorf. Like if he actually had like some options for him that made him more like offensively viable. Also, hi there, Arctic Arcade Android. Welcome to the HQ. Thank you for the follow.
Character, and that's mainly because I can't exactly speak to everybody's individual experiences with the character. Somebody listening to this probably has a friend who terrorizes them with warlock punches. Ganondorf at his best was a mid-tier
I'm that
character
friend that
could keep up
terrorizes
the
with
bottom
warlock
end of top
punches.
tier. Ganondorf at his worst was laughed out of F tier, but weirdly, it was at his lowest low that the Ganondorf community was at their strongest. He can
Oh,
be a
yeah,
terrifying
Rally Behind the
air warlord,
Garbage
the goofiest
is-
scrub lord
yeah.
in the world, and people love him for that. There's one thing you can never call a Ganondorf match, and that's boring. A
Oh,
Ganondorf
yeah.
match is going to be a fast, one-sided death match, and seeing who's the one about to die is half the enjoyment. He's the epitome of a for-fun character with the most ride-or-die fandom of the whole roster.
Yeah,
Ganondorf is
I
a fan
pop
favorite.
I pop off when a Dorf is on screen. I love Ganondorf in Smash. I love watching that. I love watching somebody go nutty mode on a low tier. I love it so much.
A crowd pleaser. When
Like-
somebody busts out
The fact that recently we've been seeing low tiers slowly climb up the tiers, especially in Melee, like seeing like Yoshi's and Donkey Kong slowly climbing up the ranks is awesome. I love that so much.
Ganondorf, you know you're in for a special match. Is this guy being serious? Does he know how to play Ganondorf, or is he just picking Ganondorf because it's Ganondorf? Does he
The
secretly
Dorf
hate
hype
his
is
opponent,
real.
and this is how he's choosing to display it. And sometimes that's exactly what you want from an opponent. Somebody who isn't going to take the game too seriously. If you're in the mood to fight a sweaty tryhard, you're not hard up for finding people like that. But if you want to find somebody who's just there to have a good time,
Why you holding on
Ganondorf's
Sonic?
your
Why
man.
you saying fuck me though? I'm a Sonic main. What do you got to say?
Ganondorf will never be a competitive character. Heck, I think it's fair to say he'll never even be a good character. But
Yeah.
he's just so much fun. Not
Oh,
even in the
yeah.
sense of a fun video.
Yeah,
game.
it is just
Oftentimes
fun
you're
to
not
play
gonna have
Dorf.
A lot of fun being beaten pillar to post. Ganondorf is a fun experience for everybody to go through. You're not gonna get spammed or infinitely comboed by Ganondorf. He's physically incapable of doing that.
Oh, the
worst you're gonna
quad
get is a
warlock
flame
punch.
choke off stage, but at that point, Ganondorf just died too, so how can you not have fun? His best
Exactly.
strategy is to kill himself. That's what they're gonna get upset over? What I'm saying not only applies to Ganondorf, but all low-tier characters. They're bad,
Oh,
but they're all
God.
the better for it. They can't win,
the
but
Dan
that doesn't
mains.
mean you're gonna stop trying. They can't do what the rest of the cast does, but so what? We'll just do
Yeah.
what we do better than everybody else. Low-tier characters are vital for a fighting game, as sometimes
Oh,
you don't
God.
want a skill-intensive
Fucking
matchup or to
Steve.
build a new stage midway through a match. Sometimes you just want to calmly walk up, hold forward an A, and DORIYAH!
DORIYAH! I love it. Shout out to all my Dorf mains out there. Let me know in the comments if you're a Dorf main, because I love Dorf mains, and I would be happy to watch any Dorf mains who play Dorf. Oh my goodness. I love Smash. I need to play Smash again. I need to start like hosting some Smash in my server sometime. My server, link to my Discord server, always in the links in the description down below. And yeah. But yeah, as I said earlier, who do you main in Smash? I'm a Sonic main, amongst others. But yeah, who do you main in Smash? I want to know who you main in Smash. Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, don't forget to hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and ding that bell so you know when I upload, and it helps me out in the algorithm. And as always, I will see you all next time at the HQ. Bye-bye.